In our first ever review at Player of Gigabyte graphics cards, we're going to be taking a look at one of the latest cards from the Pascal range of NVIDIA cards, the GTX 1060 G1 Gaming. Is it any good? Let's find out. The GTX 1060 G1 Gaming from Gigabyte features a black and orange shroud on the cooler, features a twin fan design and a dual slot cooler in full. It's a very nice looking card and it does feature RGB, but the RGB is limited only to the side, the Gigabyte logo and the fan stop logo as well. Touching on specifications, we've got a core clock of 1620 MHz, which does boost up to 1847 MHz, which is pretty nice. There's also an 8 GHz clock on the memory. It's got 6 GB of GDDR5 VRAM. It's over 198 2-bit memory interface. There's 1280 CUDA cores, and the card is slightly shorter than 11 inches. In terms of connections, featured is a dual-link DVI-D port, a HDMI 2.0B, and also a DisplayPort 1.4, and the card features a maximum resolution of up to 8K at 60 Hz. Let's take a quick look at the test setup specifications and let's get right into the testing. So yeah, as we can see, the GTX 1060 Gaming G1 from Gigabyte performs pretty well. In some of the tests, in fact all of the tests, it just lagged behind the ASUS GTX 1060 STRIX edition. But that's to be expected given that the overclock on the STRIX is higher and obviously the price is around £30 to £40 more as well, depending on the retailer of choice. One thing that I will say about the Gigabyte card is it does look great. I am quite a big fan of the orange and the black, but the only thing that I will say, the RGB lighting does come from the Gigabyte logo here and the fan stop sign, but it would be nice if Gigabyte, didn't limit the colours. So you've got orange here, black here, RGB here. So if you were looking at the card on, say, an open top test bench, or you had it on a PCI riser like that, you would have a bit of a clash and contrast of colours, which is a bit of a shame, really. Kind of like MSI, what they did with their Windforce cooler, they only limited one side to red, so it does limit it in terms of design, but obviously it does come with the Windforce cooler, dual fan design. It's not the coolest card on test. I mean, at lowered the temperatures are pretty adequate. Idle are fantastic as well, but it isn't as good as the STRIX cooler, the DC-free cooler. Granted, in saying that, this card retails for around £275, depending on your retailer, of course. That's obviously quite a good deal when you compare it to the ASUS card, which is very expensive. The Gigabyte card does offer better value for money. The backplate on the card as well, solid. I like the design, I like the implementation of it. The Gigabyte logo as well is quite nice as well. Obviously Gigabyte want their logo on it, every other brand has their logo in some form on the backplate. In terms of connections, obviously I'm quite happy that the 3 DisplayPort 1.4s, HDMI 2.0B and obviously DVI-D. This particular card is obviously fully digital, so if you've got an analog monitor it isn't going to work. It's the same throughout the GTX 1060 range as well. On the whole, the card performs pretty well. For the money, it's great. Obviously the RX 480 isn't far behind and it is obviously a better price, but 6 GB of GDDR5 memory is pretty decent. This card blitzes for everything at 1080p. 1440p, pretty easy going. 4K, we did do some 4K testing on the card, but obviously the results are not going to be anywhere near what you'd want. So there's no point really. If you are obviously interested in the results, obviously ask in the comments below and I will answer you. But like I said, if you're going to be doing 4K, this isn't the card for you anyway. But yeah, so obviously things that I do like about the GTX 1060 G1 Gaming, I like the inclusion of an 8-pin, which allows more power input for the card, so it's got better overclocking potential, better than the ZOTAC, who has one single pin. Now the card is 11.9 inches, no 10.9 inches, sorry, so it's quite a, it's not long, but it's not on the short side, not like the ZOTAC card that we previously tested. So, and the performance is minorly different between the ZOTAC as well. And the ZOTAC is cheaper, so it's hard to say this is the best value for money card on the market, but obviously it does still represent good value for money when you compare it to other models from the GTX 1060 range. As far as Pascal cards go, this is a very stunning looking card. It's great. You know, it's cool, it's relatively quiet on the load. Not the quietest card on load, I should have said it on test, sorry, but you know, it's nothing too major. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the card itself. Gigabyte obviously offer one of the best RMA services in the United Kingdom for components, so that's worth mentioning. So the aftercare support with Gigabyte is generally much better than other brands, and I'm not afraid to say that. But yeah, if you're in the market for a GTX 1060, you want something that's, you know, middle of the ground across the range, you know, the cooling, the performance, temperatures, overclocking performance as well. You know, this card does it all for under 280 quid, you know. So yeah, I've been Gavin from Player. If you like what you see, please leave a like. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Check me out in my next video. Ciao for now.